Hello! Here I am going to do Jasmine's tag. What would you need to do? I don't have the questions in front of me, okay? What would you do if you did not have to work for money? Well, I'm going to say pretty much what everybody else has said. I would love to travel. I would rescue more animals. I would have more dogs and maybe some cats. I would donate more to charity. I might get involved in flipping houses and buildings here in Waukegan. But for the most part, well, I would also help out my family and friends that needed help, financial assistance. But for the most part, for me, what I would do is probably travel and rescue animals, and like I said, flip houses and buildings. Try to restore historic buildings. Okay, what's the next question? Do I give up too soon? Sometimes. It depends on what it is. If it's something that isn't fun, then of course I'm going to give up sooner than I should have. If it's something I enjoy, I'm going to keep at it. Like yesterday when I was putting together my new treadmill, there were some, what are they called? The screws that don't have threads. You have to sort of like push and screw to make the threads, whatever that's called. I was doing some of those on my new treadmill yesterday, and it was proving very difficult, and I found myself saying, I just don't want to do this, and wanting to give up. So it depends on what I'm interested in, if it's something I'm interested in or not. Okay, next question is something to the effect of, again, not having them before me. Would you rather have no one at your funeral or at your wedding? I know many people have said they would prefer to have nobody at their funeral because they'll be dead and they won't know anyway. But I'm going to say I might prefer... Okay, I got to watch here because this is a very steep place here and could be slippery. I'm going to take the opposite. I'll play devil's advocate and say I'd rather have no one at the wedding, because I think weddings are overblown sometimes anyway. Not to say they aren't important, but I think people go too much wacko with spending money. I think what should have the emphasis on a wedding day are the people making the commitment to each other. That should not be taken lightly. It should not be important about what dress you have on, or what the food is at the reception, or how many people you've invited. It should be on the two people involved getting married, and the seriousness and the heartfelt emotions behind making such a commitment to each other. I think it should rather be like the minister and the two people. You don't need to have a whole bunch of people to witness it necessarily. And then the funeral, I think it would be nice to have people at the funeral to sort of testify to what kind of a person you were. So I'll take the opposite side and say, all I need at my wedding is whatever official person and my intended, and then at the funeral it would be nice to have family and friends get together and celebrate my life and what I brought to theirs. Okay, what's the next question? It's a snack break. Okay, the last two questions, 4 and 5, are basically the same thing, so I'll answer them both together. Basically, they're both Would you rather have more time or more money? Well, it depends. Okay, I'll answer this complicatedly. I think it depends on the time or the situation. Again, if I'm on my deathbed, I'm going to wish I had more time. Money won't matter because I was dying. But if I'm in the prime of my life and in reasonably good health and have a decent amount of time before me, I'll probably want money to enjoy that time and make that time easier. So it would depend on what point in my life I am at that moment. Thank you, Jazz, for these wonderful questions. Jasmine. Jasmine Ellis of Ipswich by the Sea, of whom none of us are ashamed to mention name or be a friend of. And I hope everybody's keeping warm. This is Stevie and Busby and Birdie at home, waiting on spring to come. Bye.